And as time flies by, you'll open up your eyes wide. You feel it's gonna go your way. Hey, hey, it's a brand new day. Hey, hey, hey.
Welcome back to Marbella now. My name is Nicole King, and I cannot believe that we're coming to the end of the 300th week of programming. Amazing, 6 years just flies by. But 6 years ago, I actually met my next guest. Her name is Masha Malka. We were just talking about her little boy being a little boy then, not so much a little boy now. Time goes so quickly. Masha, how lovely to have you back in the studio.
Nicole, I'm so happy for you. I'm so proud of you, what you've done. Sticking Marbella is not the kind, is the kind of place that's very difficult to be consistent for a long time with anything really, but you managed, and I'm super proud of you.
Thank you so much. I have to say a lot of it is #BetterTogether, thanks to my friends, colleagues, and people like you, because when you live in a city, even if it's a touristic city, it is nice to have that hub, that community hub, which has been very difficult to establish in a place like Marbella. So it takes a lot of work from all of us to make that happen.
Of course, but when you're genuine and you're giving, which is you are, and caring, and you always think about others and giving your services to others, people respond back to you.
Well, I'm very grateful to have you, and also very happy for you, because just recently you have become a professor at the Marbella International University Centre, so big congratulations.
Thank you.
The university is doing so well. They've had many challenges that Marianne has remarkably managed to overcome, with now validations not just from the Russian university but from the American university, and agreements with English study places. So it really has become a perfect place, particularly now with COVID, when you can't really go somewhere. You can start university here.
So true, and I'm happy you brought it up. I'm loving teaching in that university. You probably know I was the first professor there almost 7 years ago when they first opened, and I fell in love with the university then, because it's a unique kind of place. It's very modern, it's very bright. The students are from all over the world. It's very international, which is what I like. Then I took a break, and now I'm back there teaching a course called Mindfulness and Leadership, and I'm enjoying every moment of it. Everything about it. And you're absolutely right. Mariana has been doing an amazing job. The university is growing, even at a difficult time as, during the COVID. And I'm very excited about the future of it.
Tell us a little bit about the course, because it's so important for youngsters to know before they hit the real world that perfection is difficult to attain, that there are no set patterns, and we don't have to follow them even if there were. For people to really, kids to take that they are in control of their lives more than perhaps they realize.
Yeah, well, I've been in the business of coaching and training for almost 20 years. And most of it, until now really, I've been working with executives, with corporates, with basically all the people. And so when I started to talk about this topic of mindfulness with the students, and they're in their last year of bachelor, so they average 22, 21, 22, 23, I was so positively impressed how, first of all, how interested they were in that subject, how much they wanted to learn about being mindful, about meditating, about how the subconscious work, about purpose. We spoke obviously a lot about that as well. And many of them actually could define purpose much better than older people. I noticed that it was incredible, and it's like they're like sponges. That's why I love it so much, because I go there and I share what I know, and I could feel their eyes are just lit up, and they're asking questions, and they're interacting, and they're just taking it all in, and it's just very rewarding.
When you got the feedback from the purpose, because I think a lot of us find it difficult to know what our purpose is, and a lot of depression and a lot of confusion comes from what is my purpose. We identify with our jobs, or as being a mother or the son, or but not necessarily with ourselves.
Well, because actually purpose is not about ourselves. That's actually good that you said that. Purpose is our reason, simply put, is our reason for getting up in the morning. It's what motivates us, it's what excites us to get up and to go and do things. So, and actually, unlike goals or vision or, you know, to-do lists, it's not about our life. Purpose is our contribution to this world. It's using our gifts, it's using what we're passionate about to make a difference, to make a contribution. And making contribution, by the way, is one of the 6 needs of human beings. It's something that we want to feel valued, we want to feel significant. You know, significance is it's also a need. So that's why having a sense of purpose is so important, because when you have that sense of purpose, when you know you're contributing, when you know you're being valuable, when you know you're being important, it's a whole different experience of life.
What are the other 5?
Well, we have the need for.
I call you there. I was thinking like,
No,
okay, that's one of the 6.
No,
What are the
okay.
other 5?
Yeah, that's one of the things. So we have love and connection, growth, and the need for stability, for security. Then there is a need for instability, which is very interesting. Yes, like we're human beings, we're very complicated
Excitement.
creatures.
Yeah, you don't want the routine.
On one hand, we want to have this stability that everything is taken care of, but on the other hand, we want to have, this excitement and something that instability. So it has to be, as with everything else, there has to be the right balance. And significance is, so those are the 6 ones, is the 6.
Being mindful for me is the difference of, oh my God, I've got so much to do today, and rushing through it, as opposed to, oh my gosh, all the things that I'm going to do today, and enjoying the moment. A lot of us, I think, are an automatic pilot, just getting it done without being mindful of what we're actually doing and whether we want to be doing it or if we're getting satisfaction from doing it.
To simplify, being mindful actually means that you're using your 5 senses. This is very simple. If it's something, if you focusing on something that you're either seeing or hearing or touching or tasting, like you're feeling the texture, you're watching a beautiful flower or a skyline, you're really tasting that chocolate, I don't know why I thought of chocolate, or this food, so you're really present in the moment using your 5 senses. That's when you know you're mindful. When your mind wanders, you're not mindful, you're mind absent, So when your mind wanders, you lose quite a lot of energy, and then you get tired a lot faster. And when you get tired, everything becomes difficult, everything becomes complicated. We complicate our own lives because we overthink so many things. Mindful is when you stop this relentless thinking and just focus on what you're doing at the moment. If you're eating, you're eating. If I'm talking to you, I'm talking to you. And if you're walking on a paseo, don't think all the time about something. Just notice how the waves are, notice the little ripples, notice if there is a bird flying, how it's walking. Just notice things around you, and it gives you a lot of energy. It's like you're drinking from the
energy from nature,
from the
things
universe.
around
Yes,
you.
it's just that's the benefit of being mindful. It's not necessarily sitting and going home, and meditating, which is good. I'm not saying it's bad, but a lot of people finding it difficult to just sit and do nothing. Meditating is when you're present. It could be doing sports. People who are like really enjoy their sports and they're really into it. They're playing tennis. They're focusing on the ball. They know they're focused. They're using their senses here. Their mind not wandering. That's being mindful. That's a meditative state. Cooking, for example, you're focusing on what you're cooking. That's why a lot of people enjoy cooking, because they go into this meditative state. They're focusing on what they're doing. So there's many ways to be in a state of meditation or being mindful.
You don't necessarily have to be in that cross-legged yoga position.
Absolutely not.
Doing your own.
No, absolutely not. Just being more aware of what's happening now, and even being aware of, if you are thinking, be aware of what you're thinking. 95%, on average, 95% of everything we do, think, intend, react, so everything in our life is subconscious. We're not doing it consciously.
A lot of people say it's not what happens that matters, it's how we react to what happens that matters, and that's a hard one to control. As a coach, particularly having been so many years in the business coach, also associated with Forbes, you're well recognized in the business. That is a big one that comes up in all businesses. How to react, not to be stressed, to take those traumatic moments and turn them just into something that needs to be dealt with.
Well, you know, my second book is on mastering emotions, and that's actually has to do with the rules of how to master these emotions. And rule number one, you are not your emotions. And emotions is it's like everything is energy, and emotion is energy. It's passing through you. It's triggered by a certain event. It's normal. We're human beings. We're not robots. We're going to be triggered. That's fine. You would get disappointed. You would get angry. You would get upset. Happy, joyful, whatever. Every emotion has its place. But it is how you use that emotions and how long you're choosing to keep it. It's being aware that, okay, there is this emotion. What am I going to do with it, and why is it happening to me? If there is a consistent emotion that's coming that you don't enjoy, if you're consistently getting jealous or angry or overwhelmed or whatever it is you're consistently experiencing that you don't really want to experience anymore, you have to pay attention to what triggers it. Just again, we're talking about awareness. When it comes up, just go back, step back a little bit. What happened at that moment that triggered that emotion? Because it's usually the same triggers. And when we take away the trigger, we stop experiencing that emotion, even though it is caused by different people, different circumstances. As soon as you remove the trigger, you're no longer attracting that emotion. But going back to what you said, the second rule of mastering emotion is everything that happens to us is neutral until we give it meaning. It's neutral until we give it meaning. Every emotion we experience is only because in our head we made a certain connection, I gave a certain meaning. That's it. Any kind of emotion, we filter it. We have this system that and it's based on our beliefs, our experience, what happened before. It's our mindset, basically. But everybody filters it different. That's why the same thing can happen to 20 people, and some will react very, passionately. Some will not react at all. Some will react in the opposite way.
I had no idea to the degree we filter, in the sense of if I'm concentrated, like when my daughter was pregnant, I suddenly saw pregnant women everywhere.
Yes.
When we started looking for pushchairs and prams, there were pushchairs and prams everywhere. Now,
Yes.
then she was a toddler, then there was toddlers. In the sense, it's almost like our brain subconsciously shows us the things that are in our mind. So if we're feeling
tell you how it works.
pessimistic or unlucky,
Yeah.
then I imagine it must be similar. Then we're going to see all the things that make us unlucky.
Wonderful. Well, very good.
Did I pass, miss?
Absolutely. I was going to say that, then I thought maybe I shouldn't. There is a part of our brain. It's called reticular activating system. It's somewhere here in the amygdala. In fact, all living creatures have it, and it acts as a filter. It's something that we absolutely have to have, otherwise we will go crazy because of all the millions of bits of information that comes our way. We have to filter what goes in, otherwise it'll be too much and we cannot handle it. It's like, I'll give you an example. Reticular activating system in the fish is water. If there's too much water going in, they will die. If too much information goes in our brain, we will go crazy. So we need this reticular activating system. But how does it work? How does it filter? It filters what we decide we want to focus on, what we decide to give attention to. I did this experiment in the class. I showed a picture, and then I gave them a few seconds, and I said to them, notice everything that's blue. And then I switched it off, and I said, now write everything that's red and yellow. And they couldn't think, so they could think maybe of one or two of the other colors, and then like 7 of the blue. Why? Because that's what they focused on. Why are you seeing, you were seeing prams, and why are you seeing pregnant women? Because that's what you suddenly were focusing on. So the way we can use it to our advantage is exactly like you said. If you want to notice opportunities when everybody else see only bad things, people are losing jobs, people are struggling, the government's not helping. We can focus on all this, or we can focus like, now they want to give us these vaccines and maybe we don't want it, or maybe we want it, and if we want it, why they're not giving it? Like, we can focus on all the things and just see more and more of this and get more and more frustrated, more and more upset, and we can see more and more luck because we're focusing on luck that we don't have enough. More and more luck is around us. This one, yourself. Because that's what you focus on, that's what you experience. If you choose to focus on something else and you say, actually, I want to create abundance. I want to be abundant. I'm going to attract people who managed to become even wealthier, even slimmer, even fitter, even happier in an environment where everyone else is, or not everyone, but most people are struggling. I'm going to research that. I'm going to talk to them. I'm going to find out what are they thinking, what are they doing differently. Because nobody's better than anybody else. We're all the same. The only difference is what we choose to think about. It's our mindset, what we choose to believe and think about. That's it. We're not better in any other way. So if somebody is doing better, it's because they're thinking different thoughts, and therefore they're doing different things.
And we're going to go into more of that after the break. Don't go away. A short message from our sponsor, Linear Director, giving free taxis up to 4 times a month if you've been drinking, and also courtesy car, GPS service, everything in English, and some messages from our Zero Hero partners giving free soft drinks to the designated driver. But I say, don't go away. We'll be back with Masha Malka after the break.
Judy likes to consider herself a clever young woman, which is why she thought very carefully before choosing her insurance company. Now that she needs it, she's jolly glad she chose Linear Director, as it looks as if she might have something better to do. Why don't you be clever, like Judy? Call Linear Director on 952 14 78 34 and see which policy is best for you.
When I'm the designated driver, I think it's only fair that I get to choose a Zero Hero venue that rewards me with free soft drinks. My friends all get to choose and booze, and they feel safe going home with me. Make sure that you get your reward for being the designated driver. Why pay if you don't have to?
Hi guys, Ross here from Hogan Stand. Proud to be a member of the Zero Hero campaign, and we recommend everybody. Nobody drives drinking. Everybody who drives a car doesn't have any alcohol in their system, and we're proud to sponsor the Zero Hero program.
G-Wine is happy to be Zero Hero partner.
How cool is that? G-Wine.
Glad and are proud to present Zero to Hero. Never drink and drive.
McNulty's is proud to be a Zero Hero partner.
Out of bounds, Zero Hero partners.
Here we are, sticker going on. Delighted to welcome everybody and to be part of the Zero Hero campaign. Delighted.
Zero Hero, welcome here. At the Gaucho de Banús.
And welcome to Lemongrass, Doña Lola. Thank you very much.
Zero Hero, welcome to Portofino, Cabo Pino.
Hi guys, Kazakhstan is proud to welcome the Zero Heroes. So come on in and enjoy free soft drinks for anyone who is the designated driver. Thank you, Nicole.
Welcome back to the program. I'm chatting with Masha Malka, author, international public speaker, coach, and a very nice friend living here in Marbella, traveling all over the world in your past life, more recently, you've stayed a lot more in Marbella, haven't you? You've, like,
Not by choice.
a lot of COVID going on. Your kids are all over the place, coming home for David's birthday soon, so that's really nice. We were chatting before the break of all kinds of things, mindfulness, things we concentrate on, the things that basically manifest. And I think something nice to talk about now, talking about different points of view in your book, you had this like a picture of a house, and I loved it because I'm standing this side of the house and I see a beautiful front door and a nice window. But then there's someone on the back side of the house, and they said they arrived at the house and they're seeing completely different. There's no back door. There's only 2 windows at the top. And so we're having this cross-purpose conversation, no one realizing that, yes, we're looking at the same house but different aspects. And I apply that to everything. It seems to apply, particularly now with COVID, to vaccine, not to vaccine. Who's guilty? Who's responsible? How can we focus this with sense?
I call it seeing the world from your own window of perception, if it makes sense. In the example that you shared, yes, definitely.
I love that one. It's like so easy.
Yes, you know, I tried to, I said that there's 4 friends that want to rent a house, they couldn't go and see it all together, so they went separately, and each one saw it from a different side. Then they get together and they say, yeah, I love the house, it's got the garden. The other one says it doesn't have a garden, it only has a door. The other one says, what are you talking about? It has no, there's no door or garden, there's just 2 windows. The other one says it's just a wall. And they're arguing and trying to prove their truth, which is their truth. So next time, like if you are having an argument or discussion with somebody, please keep that in mind, because their truth is their truth. That's exactly what they saw. The only problem is they didn't see the other sides, and we don't either. When we think we're right and we try to prove, yes, I am right, we don't realize very often that we don't see everything. We only see what we perceive to be the truth.
Why do we feel as human beings this need to be right? Like, well, the person who's got to have the last word, or this feeling that because it's my opinion, everybody else is an idiot because I know. Why is this?
It's a good question. Probably because we identify ourselves with whatever it is that we're trying to prove. I'm way past that. I'm not interested in convincing anybody one way or the other. In my opinion, everybody is entitled to their opinion, and I'm actually very curious about those opinions. I'm very curious to hear why somebody believes vaccinations will save the world. To me, it's interesting to hear what they say. And then somebody would say, actually, it doesn't make any sense. And then I'm curious to hear what they think. And I'm just a curious person, and I like to hear what people say. I form my own opinion afterwards, and if somebody asks me for my opinion, I will share, but I would not shove it down their throat, because you know what, at the end of the day, I don't know. Nobody really knows, and that's what I tell my students. I said, I'm here not to tell you how this is how life works, no, because we don't know if what happens when we die, and if there is another life, or it's just it. Or maybe some people know, you know, but most people don't. And all the other things, just like with the houses, you know, we only know what we know. But I teach them things that help them take control, or better control of their life and how they build their life. And I help them overcome obstacles and build that foundation in life. I said to them, painful things are going to happen. This is life, and it's not bad. It's good that it happened, because that's how we grow. There is no growth without pain and suffering. But how you deal with it, that's what puts you aside. Knowing that you have these tools to handle no matter what happens to you. So you eliminate the fear of unknown. You eliminate the fear of change, because you know you can handle it, because you know you have that inner strength, this calm confidence. That's what I want to teach them.
How do you program the classes when you go in? Is it based on what they say the time before, or do you have a clear goal in your mind? I want these kids to have this clear. What are the things that you prioritize?
The main assignment that actually practically half of their grade is the portfolio they're building. And it's a physical portfolio. You know, I have a master's degree and I've done other graduate degrees. I don't remember anything that I learned in those. Okay, I've had a paper, but what did I learn? Most of us don't, maybe 10%. So I want them to walk away from this class having something tangible, something that they can then 5 years from now, 10 years, 20 years from now, look back and say, oh, This is what I thought was my purpose. These were my core values, and maybe they still are. This was my vision from 10 years from now or 5 years from now, and 5 years, they look back and they say, wow, this came true, these were my goals, these were my affirmations, this is how I felt about being mindful. So it's something that they can then, in fact, I don't assign them any reading. I said everybody assigns reading, and it's good to read. I'm a writer, you know. So obviously, you know, I believe and I read all the time. But I said in my class, you're going to read yourself. It's all about introspection. It's all about going within, which is a lot harder than reading, by the way. You're going to go within, and you're going to pull out everything that you think and feel about yourself, about where you want to go. It's about creating clarity, where they want to be exactly. I teach them how to create clarity on all fronts and how to get there. And then I give them tools about lifelong learning, which I think is extremely important, and mastering emotions, and of course, some of classes on leadership.
To finish, because I imagine our time is running out, but I think a good thing to finish, not just because it's the 300th program, but in the sense of there are some people who value themselves too much. But then there are those people who feel that they shouldn't be able to go and have a massage or go out with a girlfriend for lunch because they've got to be with the kids, and they don't allow themselves to pamper themselves. I think it's a good way to finish this week on how to find that balance, how to not feel guilty for loving oneself and actually spending time on oneself without going to the narcissistic level to keep that happy balance.
Briefly, I would say, if you're afraid to say no to somebody because you think they're not going to like you, or you want to be nice and you like being giving, when you say yes to somebody and you don't really want to do it, you're actually saying no to yourself. So you're saying no anyway, but you're saying it to yourself. And that's important to remember. And another problem is when you agree to do something that you don't really feel like doing, it builds resentment. Now the other person doesn't know that you don't really want to do it because you said yes and you seemed happy about it. And you're actually doing a disfavor to that person because you're building resentment, then one day it always comes up. The other person has no idea what happened, why you're suddenly so upset or angry. So it doesn't serve anybody. It's much better to have a, you know, a kind no and say, look, I'm busy now. And it takes practice, actually, because there was a time where it was difficult for me to do that. And I had a friend who taught me, because I would ask her for something, and then she said, no, I cannot do it, I need to do this and that. And she was so okay with it to say no, and I thought, my God, it's amazing. I'm not upset with her. She just told me, she rejected me, and I'm not upset with her, because the way she did it was just, you know,
honest.
Yeah, I just realized she has things to do, and it's perfectly respectable.
And it wasn't personal.
And it was, yeah, I didn't take it personal. And then I said, I need to do the same. And initially it's hard because you're so used to, and people are so used to you saying yes, you know, so suddenly.
Yes, they're not expecting
it.
it.
They're not expecting it. So little by little, if you say no, and then you realize, actually, you're better off, and people respect you more, and they respect your boundaries, and you feel happier, and then you say it again. And you find that fine balance when you say yes to someone or say yes to yourself.
Well, that's definitely something that I'm working on, and a big thank you to my friend who's always giving me nudges on that. Well, you could say no, you could say no, say no. But it's learning to be able to say no, but that doesn't mean that you're a bad person or you don't care about the other person. It's just we have to be equally in the equation.
Sure.
Well, we are coming to the end of the program and the end of our 300th week. Masha, messages for our viewers, something you'd like to share with us? Some of your great words of wisdom?
If you have a vision, something you really want to do, I assume like you, Nicole, you know, you came with a vision. You wanted to share, you wanted to, like a community,
connect
to support
everyone,
each other, to connect. You had that vision and you made it work, you made it happen. Marbella is not an easy place to make it happen. I know that, I've been here long enough. So when somebody has a vision, and we're talking about purpose, and it's about, you know, it's about using your passion to serve this world and to serve others, then anything is possible. So, you know, get excited about something, believe that it's going to happen without any doubts, because anything can happen if you just channel your focus there, you remove the doubts, you have this intention, not a wish, intention. You get up, you go, and you do it, and before you know it, it's 300th show. And
it is just like that. And before you know it,
it's
300 shows.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Masha. I really appreciate all your words of wisdom and your advice. If you would like to get some personal or group help from Masha, she's readily available, even though she's very busy. She might not say no. She may know. Do contact Masha if you would like some personal help. And thank you so much for joining us. If you would like to watch recordings of this program, you can go to the RTV Marbella website. You've got an easy link from my website, nicoleking.es, that also has links to the Zero Hero website with full listings of the Zero Hero partners who offer free soft drinks to designated drivers, and also a link to my column, Marbella Moments, in the Euro Weekly News. Can't believe it. 300th week of program is done. Masha, thank you so much
for having me. It's an honor to be here with you.
I look forward to seeing you guys again next week. Take care of yourselves, be nice to each other, and again next week for more of what's going on in Marbella now. Hasta luego.
We can change if we try. Just believe it.